welcome into the new year. Happy New Year to all of you out there in the wonderful world of YouTube. Hope you had a good holiday break. We are back to the run to the championship here in the Southern Speed Shop Racing League. Forgive me that it says the Southern Speed Shop Cup Series from Chicago. It is supposed to say the B like Biff 300 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is supposed to say the B like Biff 300 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is supposed to say. Alright, as we got qualifying underway here, live look at Dustin Hardy making his green flag run, coming to take his green flag to start the laps here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. NASCAR debuted here in 1994 with Jeff Gordon winning the very first inaugural Brickyard 400 with an amazing call at the Yard of Bricks, home of the IndyCar, NASCAR, and Endurance Championship, which runs on the road course as well. It's a very historic racetrack here this afternoon as we unveil our series here for the first time in the Southern Speed Stop Series. As we see Hardy going through turns 1 and 2, down that long backstretch, and today's action is going to be very furious and a lot of pack racing, I have a feeling, because of how much draft you have. As we got Joshua Nunez making his first of 2 qualifying laps in the 41 Mustang. Alex in the Greg Biffle 16 Granger Mustang, tribute to Greg Biffle, who we sadly lost the week of Christmas in a plane crash that killed him, his wife, and his 2 children. So this is going out to Greg Biffle and his family this afternoon. So thoughts and prayers with them as they deal with this tremendous loss. As Joseph Smith, making his return to the series, goes to P1 on lap 1, trying to see if he can better his lap time. As Nunez slots into P5 with Peppers P4. Alex is in P3. Hardy sitting in P2 at the moment. We'll see if Joseph can better his time. No. Alex in the 72 takes the top spot away. Will Peppers improve his time? No, he will stay in the 4th position right now. We'll see what Joshua can do on his second of 2 qualifying laps to see where he's going to start out here. Oh, hard into the wall. Just got really loose off the exit turn 4, and unfortunately that is going to end his qualifying run right there with a hard impact off of turn 4. That's going to be a trouble spot off of turn 4 and turn 2 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That wall comes at you, and if you just ever so slightly miscalculate that entry, you're going to go head first into that wall. As it does look like we do have all those cars in the qualifying field for tonight's Be Like Biff 300 here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And keeping in mind, like I said, this is a tribute to Greg and his family, so we ourselves here as well will pay tribute to him in a tribute video here. And once again, thank you for allowing us to come into your home this afternoon here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Like I said, welcome into the Southern Speed Shop Racing League for the Be Like Biff 300. Brought to you today by the Southern Speed Shop. Need your iRacing setups? All types of setups are made here. Go ahead and head over to Southern Speed Shop Discord or their website to get more information and get your setups today. Our friends over at K Designs. If you need your iRacing paint, hit them up today. Get a quote today for what you need done. HMS, propane and natural gas appliance needs. If you need any of those services, go head over to HMS and give Sam a call. And of course, all of us over here at Wilkes Production, thank you for tuning in every week. And all of us over here at Outcast Motorsports, we want to wish you a happy new year this year and tidings and blessings for the holiday season. And last but not least, we couldn't do this without our friends over at iRacing.com. iRacing makes all this possible week in and week out. Their sale does end this Friday, so get your deals while you can. As the cars are on the grid, your starting lineup for as the field gets rolling here under the pace car. How fitting that Alex, in that tribute to Granger paint scheme to Gray Bethel, sits on the pole for the Be Like Biff 300. To his outside, making his return to the series in that number 31 will be Joseph Smith. On the inside of road number 2 in the 17 Hardy Designs Toyota Camry is Dustin Hardy. To his outside will be the 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet, driven by Jeffrey Pepper. Inside of row 3 in that 41 is going to be piloted by Joshua Nunez. To his outside in that ride, the Dente Chevrolet, is the 52 of Brantley Bryant. Inside row number 4 is the 76 Hardy Designs Chevrolet of James Jones. And to his outside, the fan favorite Frank Skimmerhorn in the 54. As the field heads down into turn 3, getting ready to see the green flag this time by, it's a new year, but the championship hunt is on. Who's going to win this season? Well, that's anybody's ball game. Any one of these drivers that you see on the screen can win today and gain points. Will Alex hold on to his points lead, or will somebody else gain spots? As we should see that Toyota pace car dip onto pit road this time. Nope. Yep. We are going to go green as Alex leads them slowly to the start of the green flag. And green is in the air. We are underway here in the Southern Speed Shop. Be Like Biff 300 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We are green. Tight pack forming up. Alex gets a slight jump. Here comes Hardy for that second position, trying to make that line work as we see Frank Skimmerhorn getting loose in the background. He tags the inside wall. We stay green for the time being as we got that battle for the third spot right here. And Brantley Bryant pushing the 9 down that long straightaway here, getting that draft to work on the inside of Smith. For third is Jeffrey Peppers, trying to make his way up Can't make it work. The 31 makes a high line, and the 52 is going to pounce on the outside of the number 9 car, trying to look around. Brantley up 2 spots, opening lap number 1 in the books. It is going to be the 72, also known as the 16 Greg Biffy paint scheme tribute right now. And in the back right here, as we see Frank Skimmerhorn on pit road, unfortunately for him, we got James Jones trying to track down Nunez here for this 6th position. As Frank Skimmerhorn sits on pit road, a lap down, getting repaired. James Jones in a very beautiful new paint scheme from Hardy Designs and Outcast Motorsports. Trying to make the move. Nope, thinks better of it. He's going to ride around in the tire tracks of the 41. Can't quite make it work this time by. He's going to regroup as the front 5 have pulled away from that battle for the 6th position, and Alex has opened up almost a second gap on the 2nd place of Dustin Hardy. As we got 4 cars under a blanket for that 2nd position, and in the back you see Jones tight on the bumper of the 76. The 76 is on the back bumper of the 41 car. As we see the 9 getting loose, he saves it. He's going to have to regroup and chase the 3 down in front of him. A lot of time left here. 3 laps to go. 3 laps in, sorry. 117 to go. And we will be having a caution on lap 16 as a tribute, once I said, to Gray Biffle. Racing icon lost before he should have been. As the field is single file early on in the running, we'll pan back here for the battle as Jones did get around the 41, so drop Nunez back to 7th. Jones up to 6th. What does Jones have now? And I will let you know, folks, this setup is rather on the loose side of things, so these drivers have to be very careful not to get in the throttle too much. As we see that gap growing for the 6th spot, Nunez just riding around trying to get that Mustang to work. 76 pulls on him down the back straightaway. 6, 7 car lengths. Now we see the number 9 of Peppers, after that little loose moment a couple laps ago in turn 2, regrouping, trying to track down the Ride the Dente Chevrolet of Brantley Bryant. As we see Bryant trying to close the door on the 31 of Smith. Smith right now a couple car lengths off the back bumper of Dustin Hardy in that 17. About a 7/10 of a second gap from 1st to 2nd. Alex not getting that far away early on, about 10, 12 car lengths through 3, down the short chute into 4. As we are going to be working lap 6 this afternoon. As that battle for that 2nd position is starting to heat up again. Smith hot on the back bumper, half a car length off. Gives a little bit away on the entry of 1 down that short chute into 2. What can he do down the back straightaway? Can he tuck off? Can he get a run? Looks like he's going to get that draft in effect down the back straightaway. No, Hardy snakes down to the low side, trying to break that draft off the front bumper of that Mustang. That Mustang charging hard into 3. Once again, has to give up a little track position. Gets a good exit off the 3 into the short chute. A car length and a half. The difference between these two. Round turn 4. Down the other end of this super speedway. A long front straightaway and backstretch allows the draft to come into effect. Snaking down. Even our race leader is snaking down, trying to get the gap as these two are battling for 2nd. They have closed 2.5 tenths on our race leader. The gap is a half a second for the race lead. And don't look now, but these two battling out is starting to bring the 52 of Brantley back into the picture. As we see Dustin get a little squirrely, the 31 checks up, allows him to keep control of that Camry. Good heads-up driving by all of those drivers involved in that. That could have been a huge pileup. And that's going to allow the 52 to catch the draft and slingshot it. Nope, can't quite do it. Not yet. The 31 slides up high. That's going to give the inside lane to the 52. 52 backs out of it. 31 slams the door, entering turn 4. And that has allowed Alex a little bit more breathing room. About another 5 car lengths separation from first to second. And way in the background on the front straightaway, James Jones and Joshua Nunez. This is the battle right here for this podium spot. 3 cars within a half a second of each other as we see the 52 tag the wall ever so slightly coming out of turn 2. Good battle for the second spot winding up here. What a battle these drivers are putting on this early on. Here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sorry about that, folks. Caution is out on the speedway, and it does look like, unfortunately, I already know who's involved. That is going to be the 76, as we did not see him in that shot. Let's back this up and see what happened to James Jones here in that 76 car. Coming into 3 and 4, gets off the throttle late, trying to get a rotate just ever so slightly. Yep, loops it around on throttle. Good to lock it up, staying off the walls, but he's definitely going to need 4 fresh tires and fuel, or 4 fresh tires on that 76 Camaro, as he does a little victory celebration here for spinning it out, bringing our first caution of the day out here on lap 9. Fortunately, he will gonna need new tires for that one, but that re-racks the field 9 laps in here this afternoon. Excuse me, folks. Just getting over being sick a little bit this past week, so bear in mind with me. I don't have much of a voice this afternoon. As you see, everybody entering the pits, getting 4 fresh tires, topping off on that Sunoco Racing fuel. Everybody but Smith, Hardy, and Nunez, so the field splits in half. Interesting strategy call. As we see the field coming down to the attention, the 16 in his box, the 9 in his. Oop, the 16 overshoots. Brantley Bryant down. Can he beat Peppers off pit road? No. Bryant gets a spot over Peppers, and unfortunately the 16 loses a spot as Jones is going to get 4 tires and probably top off the fuel on that Chevrolet. Jones back here, no foul, fresh tires, regroup. We got this, and we're going to get a quick 2 or 3 lap shootout here before our competition caution, I would assume, in today's festivities. As we see Alex serving what looks like might be serving a black flag, probably not. Just getting some more fuel into that Mustang. Now, here's the interesting part. That 16 car back on pit road. So this is going to shake it up a little bit here. Hardy, P1, Smith on his outside. Inside of row number 2 is going to be the 41 of Nunez. To his outside is Brantley Bryant in the 52 car. I apologize, I cannot talk today. Inside of row number 3 is the number 9 car. And behind him in row number 4 is going to be the 76 of James Jones. And catching up to the tail end of the field is that 16 car driven by Alex. Slotson behind James Jones as we got a blinker. Oh no, Peppers is blinking ever so slightly as the lights are out on the iRacing pace car. Little bit of a gap here. Don't know if they're not lined up quite right. That outside lane looks a little small. So we'll see what's going on with that. And I would expect to see the pace car drop on to pit road this time by that iRacing pace car about to drop off, leaving the field in the hands of the 17 of Hardy. Let's see what type of restart we can go. That bottom lane has 5 cars in it compared to the green flag is out deep inside the restart zone. Hardy gets a jump. Give the 17 the lead. He's going to try to close the door and slams it on Smith. Now, our early race leader back in the back of the pack. Can he work his way through the field and get that 16 up to that number 1 spot before the competition caution in honor of the 16, which he carries of Greg Biffle. Dustin Hardy snaking down the backstretch. The 31's going to go with him, trying to keep that draft in there. Bryant in the 52 in third as we see that battle for that number 6 spot. Give it to Alex for the moment. He's going to go in the inside, take the 6th spot, looking to take over the 5th spot from that 72 of James Jones, who did bring out our first caution of the day. As we see them snaking down, Hardy going to the wall, down the front straightaway, trying to break the draft. Smith says, nope, you're stuck. I got it. As that 16 car stuck behind the 72 at this moment in time. Little bit of separation now between them. The front 2 have pulled away from our 3rd place runner by almost a second as the 31's going for the move. The 31 all the way down to the grass on the backstretch says, I am not going anywhere. We are going to have a new race leader into turn 3. Hardy says, nope, I want this. He's going to run that high line. Gas to get out of it to stay off the wall. He's going to go into the wall. Can he save it? No, he's going to spin and tag the front of that car into the turn 3 wall. He got into the marbles in turn 3, the entrance to turn 3, tried to get out of it. But once you get in those marbles here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's pretty hard to get it back. And I am sure this will be used as our competition caution, as that pace car is going to pick up our race leader of Joseph Smith. Behind him is going to be that 52 car. Sliding in 3 will be the 9 of Peppers. Now up to the 4th position is that 76 of James Jones. 5th in that 16 is going to be Alex. As we see that 17 car, we are going to run single file, and this is going to bring us to that competition caution on lap 16. Unfortunate for Hardy. That was not what you wanted to see for that battle their lead. But it's one of those racing deals. You don't want to give up that race lead. And here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you can make it work on the high line if you don't get too far out there in the marbles. But Hardy had his right sides in the marbles, and that just kind of acts like a rut basically, and just sent him around and got loose and broke the rear traction from that car. As we see the 70, the 31, the 52, the 76, the 16, the 41, and the 17 elect to hit the pit road. And that's going to leave the 9 of Peppers out there on his own. As we see Jones get around the 16 car, move Jones up 5 from where he started this afternoon up to P2. As we see the field regrouping, gonna catch the back of the 9 car here. Jeffries decided to stay out as the field goes by. As we wait for the rest of the field to line up here to catch the field, as we see, looks like both the 17 and the 52 car are still on pit road. Dustin's going to have some lengthy repair on that 17 car, unfortunately. Don't know what's happened to the 52. No, Hardy's out. Brantley still on pit road as the field is coming out of turn 4. And ladies and gentlemen, it is with my honor, I don't want to use that word, but it is my privilege on lap 16. This is going to be a lap to remember the late, great Greg Biffle. The tribute here from us to his fans and all of us he had an impact on growing up every day, watching that 16 car go around the speedway. This lap is for you, Greg. We lost Greg Biffle in December, the week before Christmas. And unfortunately, his close friend, Cletus McFarland, broke the news that none of us wanted to hear. The NASCAR community has poured its heart and condolences and prayers to everyone affected by this tragedy that happened in December, where we lost Greg, his wife, and his 2 kids. Greg Biffle won 19 times in his career in the top echelon of NASCAR. He won the Busch Grand National Championship in 2002, as well as the Truck Championship in 2000. He was the he was the 1998 Rookie of the Year. His 2 championships also marked history, as he was the first driver to win both the Truck and the Busch Series titles. In a couple years ago, he was named one of the 75 greatest drivers by NASCAR. He leaves behind a legacy that will transcend time. He'll be remembered as a legend, but more importantly, his humanitarian work last year in the wake of Hurricane Helene, where he and Garrett Mitchell, also known as Cletus McFarland, joined over 90 other independently owned helicopters in the aid of recovering stranded survivors and getting medical aid to those the first responders couldn't get to. The Biff, as so many people that were close to him called him, later adopted by us fans, has won so many hearts if you followed him on social media and his YouTube. He is truly known as a good old boy. As we continue to process this over the weeks and months to come, I can say this is certain. Greg Biffle will never be forgotten for his impact on the NASCAR community and his personal friends. The road ahead is going to be a dark one for everybody that knew him personally. So please, out of respect for his family and friends, as they just deal with the loss, keep in mind all of us are mourning the loss of Greg Biffle. All of us here over at Outcast Motorsports, Wilkes Productions, and everybody associated with this league. My heartfelt and deepest condolences to all the family members of the Biffle as well as the pilots on the aircraft. May God bless and keep everyone safe this year.
Never
As,
mind not going.
oh, not going as we see Peppers spin under caution. The caution lights are back out on the pace car. And that is going to leave the field in the hands of that 76 of James Jones. Outside of him, in row number one, is going to be Joseph Smith. Inside of row two, we have the 41 of Nunes. To his outside is a 17 of Dustin Hardy. As that pace car decides it's going to say, I'm done, I'm going into pits, take a nap. Green flag is going to come out here as soon as we hit that restart zone. Jones bringing him slowly into the restart zone, waiting till the green flag is out. Spins the tires just a pinch, but gets enough traction to get around the 31. As we see the battle behind between Bryant and Peppers. The outside, the 52 around the outside ride, the Dente is definitely right. Oh no, our race leader drops to third as we were watching that battle. What happened? As we see that battle right there, the 52 driving underneath the 41 of Nunes. Nunes going backwards. The 9 is going to pounce. The 9 gotta be careful there. Gathers it up as we see Alex. Oh, Alex is gonna drop it down. Oh no, do we have problems on the 72, or does he have to do a stop and go or a pass through penalty? That's gonna be huge on the points. As now the field is single file, and unfortunately the damage early on is gonna take Frank Skimmerhorn out of the competition as he is now 18 laps down. Unfortunately for Frank, not the afternoon he wanted this afternoon here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As we see Smith, now that he's got clean air on the front of that Mustang, has pulled away by a second here early on in the going after we restarted. Battle for third, heating up. 3-car battle. Jones, Bryant, and Peppers all fighting for the final step on the podium. As we are just now approaching the 60-mile mark here to go in the Be Like Biff 300. Jones has that third spot right now, but don't look now. Closing down on him is that 52 car, who's looked strong early on. But what does this set of tires do as we see the 9 Peppers trying to get underneath, back under the 52 car to take over that fifth position, side by side, out of turn 4, down the long front stretch. here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Side by side, not an inch of separation. Going into turn one, who's going to lift first? Neither. They stay glued side by side. Brantley making the outside work around one and down the short chute into two. Peppers has the preferred lane. The 52 is going to wash up high in those marbles. Give that position back to the 9. Back to 4th goes Peppers. Now sets his sights on the back bumper of the 76 car. Now the 76 trying to find room to race, trying to cut the deficit that he has to the 17 car. And Hardy, after that spin, bringing out the first caution of the day, or second caution of the day, my apologies, up to the P2, trying to track down the 31. And what happened to Alex? Alex way back here into 3 and 4, 30 some seconds off the race lead for what I would assume was a pass-through penalty. Don't know if it was an equipment violation or what it was, but Alex needs a caution desperately to get back into this. As we go back to the race lead, who has a 2-second gap entering turn 4 here at this famed motor speedway. This is the biggest gap anyone in the field has had this afternoon. As that battle for third once again is heating up between Jones, Peppers, and Bryant. Jones definitely needs a good showing this week to improve his points. Because you see him get a little squirrely. And that will allow the 9 of Peppers to look in. Be careful, Jones. He's in the marbles. As the 52, he's going to lose mighty down the back stretch. The 52 on the inside. Not what Jones wanted to see. That podium position slipping out of his grasp ever so slightly. He'll regroup and try to get back up there with the front runners here this afternoon. While the 52 and the 76 were battling, that allowed Peppers to get by him. And Nunez way back there, not even in the draft. What can he do? Him and Alex are both needing a caution to come back up to this field. As Jones looking to regroup, trying to cool those tires off after that slide. Just doesn't look like the tires are liking that car right now. A little loose on throttle looks like for the 76 car. And I'll tell you, folks, the setup is a very loose style setup here this evening here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So the drivers are definitely going to have to be conservative with their throttle application here. As, believe it or not, we got a battle for the second position heating up. Peppers has found speed in that Napa Chevrolet, tracking down the 17 of Dustin Hardy. Peppers got around Jones and Bryant and has set sail 4 or 5 car lengths off the back bumper of the 17 Toyota Camry. And these guys are almost 4 seconds behind the 31 of Smith. Now the question is, if Peppers can get around the 17 car, can he track down the race lead some 4.5, almost 4.2 seconds behind a race leader right now this time by? Can he close in that deficit? As unfortunately Alex has not been able to chip into the deficit he has on the field, and more than likely is gonna go a lap down here if we don't get a caution here soon. And typically here in this series we get some long green flag runs. As we see Hardy down by the grass trying to break the draft so the 9 can't close that gap anymore. But that gap is down to a car length and a half. Half a car length through 3. Peppers rolls that corner exit really well in 3. Gets a little twitchy entrance of 3, 4. That's going to allow Hardy to breathe by a couple car lengths. Now the 9 doesn't chase Hardy down to the wall. Stays in his line. He's got the track position. Staying right around a car length between these two as we see the 9 ship it hard deep into turn 1, but makes it sticks down the short chute, putting that pressure half a car length off the back bumper of the 17 car. He's got the car. Oh, he is now. Caution is out.
Hey man, your mic sounds like a little far away from your mouth again. Just double check
Oh
that for me.
no, and unfortunately James Jones. Let's see what happened to James. Just gets loose off of 1 and just tries to correct it. Little bit of heavy contact. Ooh, oof. Nunes barely squeaked by. Heavy left front damage here on the 76 car. He's going to bring that down to pit road. And that is just what Alex wanted to see, but not what Smith wanted to see at all for him. And our third caution. Now I would assume that all these cars left out on track are gonna see pit road, get 4 fresh tires and fill up on Sunoco Fuel. Excuse me. What do our race leaders decide to do now that they got a chance to breathe, regroup? Very long caution pace laps here around this big 2.5 mile. As the 31 barely makes that commitment cone. Whew. A small field, it's dwindled down. And unfortunately, Jones is out for this afternoon. Unfortunate for him and his title chances, but there is always next week. As the rest of the field hits their spots, a couple of people overshot. The 41 had to back out. Ooh, looks like Smith just did a gas stop. 2 tires on the 9. Interesting pit strategies ensuing. "31, your race leader on that pit cycle. Looks like he just did fuel." Your race leader on that pit cycle. Looks like he just did fuel. Your race leader on that pit cycle. As we gather up the field, good opportunity to say hello to our sponsors. K Designs. Get your iRacing pictures and paints. Head over to K Designs. Southern Speed Shop. Get your iRacing set up for whatever your needs today from the Southern Speed Shop gang. HMS propane and natural gas appliance needs. All of us over at Outcast Motorsports. And last but not least, our friends over at iRacing. Now, the gentleman on the outside. Oh no, unfortunately, it does look like Alex is Bryant leaving pit road. As these guys, as we see Alex catching back up, Brantley and Alex went back on the pit road. So I don't know if those guys had damage or penalties. I'm not too sure. But uncharacteristic for Alex to be making this many pit stops. I don't know if the car's not handling right, had a little bit of damage or some penalties that he needed to go, but he is now caught back up to the tail end of the field. As we see the 52 of Bryant back at the tail end. Peppers in the outside of row 2 in that number 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet had the pace the last run we did. Now, what does he have for this restart? He had the pace and was looking to take over that second position from Hardy. So we will see what this.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. 31 gets a jump. Stays in the race lead as we got that battle for third heating up between Hardy, the 52, and the 41. All fighting for that final podium position. As we see Alex catch finally back up into this lead pack. Let's see what he can do in that 16 car. As that is going to be that battle for the fifth and final. Nope, 6 cars still running. My apologies. As we see Alex cutting low off of turn 3, trying to get the run down the short chute. Trying to get back up to the race lead early on. As the race leaders have pulled away and put a second over P3. Nunez trying to stay in touch with that 16 and not lose that draft. As Hardy's falling under attack from Bryant. And don't look now, but that 16 has caught the ride, the Dente Chevrolet down the back stretch here. Gonna sit and run. Gonna look, nope, thinks better of it. As the 52 sends it deep, trying to stay in front. That's going to allow the 16 to get a good run down the short chute into 3. Alex is going to take a high line and try to arc it down onto the white. As we see the 17 bounce off the outside wall off of turn 2. Oh, hope that didn't accept too much damage onto that car. As this is going to tighten that battle for second. These 4 drivers are almost 2 seconds off the race leaders. The 9 does not have the pace he had the last set of tires. Maybe the tires just got to wear in for him as we see that 16 looking to try to get around the 52 to get up to that fourth spot as these drivers are watching the race leader say bye bye. The five are all back. All five of these, four of these, five. Don't do three wide. Holy schmoly. Oh no, as we see Hardy, it looks like Hardy does have some damage on there as we see that 52. Now we're going to get 2 by 2. The draft is definitely going to take effect here. The 16 is going to get to the back bumper of the 52. The 16 is going to back out of it. So does Pepper. So not to push the 17. 17 high in the marbles. Can he keep control of it? As the 9 slips up, that's going to allow the 16 under him. Alex looking strong now as he's caught back up to this field. Working underneath the 9. The 9 got a good run off of 4. Keeps that 16 pinned down to the inside lane. He's going to get the draft off of the 17 car. Pull up in front of Alex as the 9 now is going to look under the 17. The 17 says nope, shuts the door on the 9. Now that's going to give the run to the 16 into turn 2. The 9 and 16 both drop down to the apron. Trying to find a way around as we see Hardy get loose again. Don't think they're handling quite right on that 17 right now. This is the battle right here for third. As we see a little, oh, the 9 gets loose. Oh no, can he save it? Yes, he saves it, but that's going to drop him 2 spots as the 41 is going to try to look around the outside. Nunez trying to make something happen. Side by side down the front straight away. Who has the advantage? Give it to the 41 going into turn 1. The 9's gonna have to regroup, but that's gonna boost the confidence of Nunez here as he's finally gotten around somebody. Bring him up to P6. Now long road ahead as we go back to our race leader. 2.2 seconds ahead of the 52 who did get around the 17 and has checked out. Over a second, almost a second over that third spot as we see that 16 closing the gap for P3 off the back bumper. Yeah, the 17 just is not handling right now. I think he does have slight damage from hitting the outside wall. But he's going to come under a fire from the 16. Wouldn't it be something if the 16 car went to victory lane this afternoon? You know that would be exciting for everybody. But long race ahead of us. We're not even at the halfway point yet here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As the battle starting to heat up ever so much. Alex got a good run off of 4. He's going to have the draft. Does he look inside? He is there on the back bumper. No, thinks better of it. Lets Hardy have the spot. Says too early to make that move. I don't want to wreck us both. As we see Hardy, ooh, they both get loose. The 16 and the 17 both get loose. As you see Nunez starting to put a gap on the 9 of Peppers. Peppers' car is just not where he was in that last stint. I don't know if it's the tires or the track conditions changing, but that 9 is not handling the way that Peppers wants it to. What does the 52 have? Does anybody have anything for the 31 of Smith in the Fish Speed 31 Mustang? He has been a dominant car since he took the lead and has not looked back. And aside from the restarts, nobody has had any answer for the 31 as he is pulled away almost 3 seconds from our field out for a Sunday drive. Down the front stretch they go. The field has opened up quite a bit. Like I said, the question is who at this point in time has what it takes to pry the win from the hands of the 31 a quarter of the way through. As we see it get a little twitchy. Smith still trying to break the draft, but I don't think the draft is going to matter. A 3 second lead. You can run your line, but I don't think anybody has anything to touch the back of that Mustang. He is gone. This is really the only battle here on track. As for this third position, as Hardy gets a little loose, a little tight, it looks like off the exit of turn 2. It's going to allow Alex to close down. Car length and a half off the back bumper of that 17. Now make it a car length going into turn 3. And back here, the battle for 5th is starting to heat back up a little bit. Pepper's car has now kind of found some pace. Starting to cut that deficit down. From the back bumper, he's got the toe. As the battle for 3rd heats up again, so does the battle for that 5th position. The battle for 3rd, 3 seconds ahead of your battle for that 5th and 6th position. As Pepper's car is now starting to come back alive, but is it a little too late into this run? As he is 8 seconds. As you see the 41 twitch a little bit off of the turn 3 into the short shoot. That's going to give the 9 the run. The 9 gets a great run through 4. Drops down to the low side. As Peppers is going to make the move. Looked like Alex is going to try to make the move on Hardy into 1, but thought better of it. Alex, the closest he's been, glued to his back bumper, is at 16 to the back of the 17. Little bit of separation now. The battle for the lead is dramatically starting to close down now as the battle for this 3rd position has finally heated up to the point where Alex is like, I am making my move. It is my time. No, can't do it. Dustin gets that run on the high side. As the gap for a race lead has closed down, Brantley has found some pace and as we see Hardy get loose off of 1. That's going to force a 16 high. Can the 16 get out of the marbles? Yes, he does. That 17's handling is gone. The 16 is going to look to the inside down this back straightaway. Going to pull alongside into 3. 16 with the preferred spot. The 17 is going to give him that spot, trying to look for the crossover. Just doesn't have what it takes to get off of 3 into the short shoot into 4. Give that position to the 16 of Alex. Now, what does Alex do? Does he have the pace to track down our second place runner, as Hardy said, I am not done with this podium. While those two were battling, that race lead has shrunk even more this time by. So Brantley has definitely found some speed, whereas Smith just saving his fuel. But that 16 now has checked out from the 17 car. As the 17 is not handling the way that Dustin Hardy wants it to handle right now. Just can't put that car in the spot. As we see the gap between him and the 16 growing exponentially at each corner. As you see, Peppers has put some ground between him and Nunez. Now, what does Alex have this late into the fuel run? Like I said, the 52 can now see the back bumper of the 31. I think the 31 is just giving up some track time just to conserve some fuel. Gonna try to make this fuel last as long as he can. As we see the gap right around 2.3 to 2.4, depending on what end of the speedway they are on. I've been right around the 2.3 second mark, which shows me that our race leader is just maintaining the pace he has. Whereas you see a little bit of the flutter from the tailpipes there. Smith, a very good race car driver in his own right, just doing what he has to do to keep that 31 out front here. As the 52 right now is going to get at this stage the hard charger award this week, up 4 from where he started this early on, so he's in the running for that. As you see him running a little bit of higher line, he is going to get a little twitchy loose up in the marbles. That's going to drop him 4 or 5 car lengths back off the difference. He's pushing it. You can see that rear end twitchy on the 52 car. Down the back straightaway as the race lead is now opened up by another 3/10 down that back straightaway. And the same 2-second margin back to our third place runner. Lot of racetrack in between all of these cars right now. Lot. Oh, as 52 gets hard into that wall off of the exit of 1. Is that going to affect the handling of his race car now? As he has lost some pace for our race leader, who has opened it up to 3 seconds now. Back up. 52 just searching for any sort of grip here on this hot, slick 2.5 mile, very low banked speedway. As Alex is starting to creep in, only 1.4 seconds off of P2. Hardy not too far off in P4. And once again, that beautiful tribute paint scheme to the Biff in P3. What can he do to take that deficit down even more as we get later on in this fuel run? Still 1.5 seconds off the back bumper of the 52 of Brantley Bryant. Everybody just running their lane right now. As we see the number 9 is put 2 seconds over the 41 of Nunez. And he is some 12, almost 6 seconds off the back bumper of the 17 of Hardy, as Nunez is our last car on the lead lap, just running his race, ticking off laps. And it's a very big speedway is the Indy Motor Speedway. It takes a long time to get around this place, even at speed. As you see a little bit of front damage on Pepper's Camaro. Now, I do not know, folks, what is going to be the pit cycle, how long they can go on a tank of gas here. But I would imagine we should see them starting to have pit cycles coming up shortly. You do burn a lot of fuel here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As we see that battle for that second position, just a second separating our second and third place driver. That 16 has found pace. 7/10 of a second off the rear bumper for P2. As we see 16 just, decided to say, I'm going to pancake that side of my race car off the backstretch wall. Commentator's curse, I guess. As the 52 just right around the bottom of the racetrack here, trying to keep that car low. As we see Peppers gonna go down to pit road on lap 54. Bringing that Napper Chevrolet to the attention of his crew. And he will most likely go a lap down. Overshoots the box ever so slightly. Right side's up. Crew around to the left side of that Chevrolet. Left sides are up. Left side is down, waiting on that fuel. As we see him go a lap down, now the question is, as we see our race leader now gave over the race lead to the 52 to come down to his services, and Jeffrey Pepper still in pit road, trying to get the damage fixed on that race car. Now Brantley, when does he decide to pit for his new tires here? And through this cycle of pit stops, Alex is closed down as we see the 52 drop on to pit road, this time by give that race leader over to the 16 as we see Hardy follow him down to pit road. As we see Nunez going down pit road. And our race leader staying out. Looks like the 31 is still on pit road. Long pit stop for the 31. What happened to the 31 car? Oh no, what happened to our dominant car this afternoon? On, oh boy, as the services on the 52 is done, the 17 done, the 31 still sitting there. Nunez getting service of his crew as Alex is gonna stay back out on the track as we see the 9 in the background, 2 laps down on track behind a race leader. I think Alex is going for the I want to lap the whole field before I pit. Stayed out on the racetrack. He still has the pace in that 16 car. So did he save a little bit more? Now the question is, when does Alex pit? Because there's only 3 cars on our lead lap. And unfortunately, our dominant car is 2 laps down on the field. And this time by, Alex is like, I'm going to drop onto pit road. He said, I cannot do this long enough, as that's going to give Jeffrey Peppers one of his laps. We see the brakes lock up on the 16 car. Did he get the pit road speed on time? As we're going to see Nunez go around him, so we'll have 4 cars on the lead lap this time by, as Nunez is going to get his lap back before we reach the start-finish line. So we put 4 cars back on the lead lap, as we still see the 31 on pit road. Oh no. The 16. Now this is going to be the question. How far of a deficit will he get for staying out 1 lap too many? As we see the 16 on pit road, left sides are going up. He's got to make this quick, but he is going to lose our race lead. But the question is, where does he slot in? As we see the 16 right now leaving pit road in the apron of turn 1. We're going to see the 52 streak by. Now can Alex get a good run off the apron of turns 1 and 2, or get down on that service exit? Can he get a good run? He is about 2 seconds. He's gonna be in the clutches of that 17 car on warmer tires, and he will stay in P2 right now. Just gotta get through 3 and 4 to get these tires heated up, as we already see that gap right around 2 seconds again, as he's opening up the distance between him and Dustin Hardy. As we see the 16 get into the wall ever so slightly off of turn 4, drops down to try to break the draft. As that 16 is fast, he's closing the gap to right at exactly at the 2 second mark going into turn 1. Loses a little bit in corner entry, but good drive off for the 16 car. I've been noticing that he gives up a little time corner entry, but gets a good exit out of these corners. Now we will see how long can the Ride the Dente Chevrolet stay out in front of the Granger Mustang of Alex. If you're Brantley, you're gonna start hearing the Jaws music playing here with that 16 on your back bumper. And unfortunately, Joseph Smith is out of it this afternoon after a dominating first part of the race. We'll stick around and find out what happened to him. .3 is your gap between first and second. Excuse me. The race lead is less than a second between first and second. That 16 has caught the draft of the 52 car. Now, this is most pressure that the 52 has been under all afternoon long. Can he keep the 16 at bay as we see the 52 get into the wall hard, trying to break the draft on the front stretch? Makes heavy contact with the pit road. 3, 2 car lengths through 1 and 2, 1 down the short straight into 2. Alex is there. Closes the gap to right around 2.5 car lengths. As we see Brantley drive all the way to the grass, even on the grass down the backstretch, trying to do everything in his power to break the draft from the front bumper of the 16. Give him a little bit breathing room this time by. Opens it up a couple car lengths. But Alex has put the pressure on, and Brantley feels it. Brantley's driving as hard as he can, opens it up another 2 car lengths off of 3. I mean, 4, I apologize, down the front straightaway. As you see the shade starting to make its way into the entry of 1, giving the cars a lot of grip corner entry. Pretty typical here this late in the afternoon here at Indy for turn 1 to start developing into complete and utter shade. The grip level is going to go up on that end of the speedway. Now Alex has kind of stabilized that gap right around a half second. But Alex has shown that he's got the pace. The question is, when does he ride? With under 60 to go here from the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Dustin Hardy, some 2 seconds off the back bumper of your second place driver right there. And a huge gap back to our 4th and final place runner on the lead lap of Nunes, as Jeffrey is still 1 lap down in the 9 Napa Chevrolet. Now this is crunch time here with under 60 to go. There's going to be at least 2 more pit stops this afternoon. So the question is, will Alex learn from where he did in that pit cycle, staying out 1 lap too long? Will he decide to do that again this time by? That's going to be the question, because if he keeps the pressure on, could he put the 17 and the 72, or the 52, sorry, a lap down before he decides to pit and come out 2, maybe 3 seconds ahead of him? Stick around and find out. Gonna be interesting. As the battle for that race lead has kind of subsided right now, Alex is just minding his P's and Q's. Brantley pulling away. Did Alex show his cards too early? Or is he just saving his stuff? And what does Hardy have for our race leaders, if anything, at this point in time? Alex closing in, couple car lengths down the back straightaway. Into 3. You can start to see the marbles forming on that high line. So you gotta watch where you put the placement of your right side tires this late in the going. A lot of marbles here at Indy. They bounce off the wall and go right into the racing groove. As Brantley is trying to do everything in his power to check out from the bottom bumper of that 16 Mustang. as Hardy is watching these two say Saranara. As we see Alex starting to reel our race leader back in. 4 car lengths is the deficit going into 3. Right around 2.5. Make that a car length. Alex putting the pressure on our race leader right now. It's a little high at entrance of 3. Loses a couple car lengths, but you see that gap closing down. 2/10. Right on the back bumper. A couple car lengths. Brantley all the way down to the wall. Swings it wide, arcing it wide. Alex keeping it nice and tidy down on the apron. Closes that gap up to half a car length. Thinks better of it. Checks up. Opens up the entry to 2. Gets a good run off of 2. He's going to have the draft. Brantley snaking down the backstretch all the way on the grass. Alex putting the pressure on. Now, if these two get racy, it can allow Hardy to catch them if they keep running side by side. These cars are pretty even. Alex a little better through 3 and 4. Brantley a little better on the other end of the speedway in 1 and 2. Now down the middle of the front stretch. Not a lot of zigging and zagging from our race leader. Gonna pull a couple car lengths on the entry, but here comes Alex rolling through the bottom. 1 and 2. Closes the gap back down to 2 car lengths. Still 2.5 car lengths separate our race leader. I think Alex is just toying with him. Getting runs, seeing where he can make it happen. Brantley up 5 spots from where he started this afternoon in P6. Holding on to the top spot for now. Race leaders through 2. Both right in the apron through 2, trying to get the cars to rotate. Right around 5 car lengths is the gap between first and second. Ride the Dente looking strong at this point in the race. But here comes a 16. Chop that down to a car length and a half through 3 and 4. That Granger Mustang is on a move. Brantley will have to be looking out at his rear view. Alex in the slipstream. Gonna give a peek. Nope. Brantley thought he was gonna block it. Little twitchy. Goes back up to the racing line. Arcs it into 1. Through 2. Brantley opens that race lead back up to about 6 car lengths. 70 laps in the books here. Alex backing up ever so slightly from our race leader, cooling down those tires, trying to get another run. Wraps the curb through 3 into 4 down the long front straightaway. And Hardy can see the race leaders, and Hardy's wanting them so desperately to start racing side by side so he can start to close down for this battle for the race lead this afternoon. This has been the story for the past 20 minutes here with these two. The back and forth. Alex gives them breathing room, then chops it down. Both of these race car drivers have put on a whale of a season this year. These guys have raced side by side, nose to tail, bumper to bumper, week in and week out. And as we begin the championship hunt, The driver in second is gonna look to keep his point lead and extend it this afternoon here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now about 10 car lengths between first and second down that long backstretch here. And fun fact, if you didn't know about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, there is an 18-hole golf course. The back nine are actually inside the grounds of the actual speedway, with the front nine being on the outside of the back stretch. So while the race is going on here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you can go play a round of golf with your friends. Access tunnel underneath the track on the back stretch, and you can go watch the race on your phone while golfing, and then watch the rest of it from the back nine inside the track. So interesting little tidbit of information. And this track was founded in 1909, and the reason there's still a yard of bricks here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is because this track was paved with bricks, and then it was paved over and over and over. And not too long ago here, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway had a geologist come out and get a core sample of the asphalt, and they drilled down in the turn two and actually saw every surface of the racetrack still intact, including the actual real brick that they used for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway back in the 1900s, 1909 through I believe it was 1920s that they ran on brick here. And the only remnants of that original racetrack that still remains is what we call the Yard of Bricks, also known as the start finish line. A 3 foot wide strip of bricks that runs the length of the front stretch to the down through pit lane, signifying the history of this motor speedway. That's why it's called the Brickyard. Brickyard 400 was run here consecutively year in and year out until a few years back when they took Indianapolis off the schedule, the Brickyard off the schedule, and ran the road course races here during the COVID era. Back on the oval once again here in the Cup Series in 2026. Going to be interesting to see the Speedway back up to its former glory, and these cars ripping and roaring around here, 36 car deep here in later on this year, as we see in the virtual world here from the Southern Speed Shop Racing League, that they are at the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And 52 of Brantley Bryant has opened the gap up significantly, the biggest lead he's had in probably 20 something laps here, as I would anticipate the pit stop cycle opening up here, I want to say in the next 10 to 15 laps. Did Alex use his stuff, or is he just biding time, trying to play the pit strategy at this point? And Dustin Hardy way back there, some 6 seconds behind this race lead. As you see Brantley get a little twitchy off the exit of 2. As we get later on in this afternoon, you can see the rubber laying down, but the track is still very, very warm on the turn 3 and 4 end. Has a shadow in 1 and 2, or not 1 and 2, but turn 1. Sorry, there's 4 distinct corners here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. With turn 1 and 2 is separated a short chute, the same as 3 and 4. And then long back stretch and front stretch that make up this historic 2.5 mile speedway. Alex closing back in now. 4/10 as you see the shadow going over the front stretch into turn 1. That shadow getting bigger, allowing these drivers to push it more down the front stretch and into turn 1 with the grip. Brantley opens that race lead back up Right around a half a second. With pit stops looming, what does our race leaders have? And if you're Dustin Hardy, do you pit early to try to jump these two race leaders? You got to do something if you're P3. And then if your question is if you're in 4, Jeffrey Peppers, what are you going to try to do to get your lap back? As our front two have pulled away by 7 seconds from P3. As we see the 52 start twitching now that the fuel load is starting to decrease, the rear end of these cars are becoming light. Alex follows the 52 down to the bottom of the racetrack, shoots up high to try to get a good entrance into 1, trying to get a good run down the short chute into 2. 3/10 of a second. Both of these drivers are battling this loose condition now. Like I said, with the fuel running low, the cars are going to be faster, but require you to be a lot more patient on throttle. Ooh, as we see Alex is a little wide, brushes the right side of that Mustang, peeks out, nothing doing. Riding around P2 is Alex. Is comfortable and content to ride right around about 4 to 5 car lengths is comfortable gap between the first two. Oh my god, this race is so long. As we see our race leader dropping on the pit road to begin the pit cycle, left side, right side's going up as we see our third place driver Hardy on pit road. Right side, left side's down. 4 tires and fuel on the 52. Now the question is, when will our race leader? He's gonna stay out again on this pit cycle. Interesting strategy call for the 16. He likes to run it long. Will it work out? As we see him put Dustin Hardy 1 lap in the rears. Now the question remains, can he track down the 52 car out in front of him and put him a lap down? So you see there's a significant gap between our race leader and our second place race leader, Brantley Bryant. Now if you're Alex, how long do you stay out? He stays out one more time. He did this the last pit cycle, and he did not work out for him. So the question remains, will it work out for him this time by? As we see 52 entering the backstretch, And our last race leader is now exiting the backstretch, so there's a significant gap. And I do not believe that Alex has what it takes to track him down. But he is definitely trying to put him one lap in the rears before he pits. Interesting strategy call here. As we do see that gap growing between. Alex, race leader's going to have to lock it. Oh, does he make pit road speeding? Second time our race leader has pushed it on the pit road. Now, did he stretch it out enough? This long, agonizing pit road here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway takes a lot of time, and I don't know if this is going to work out again for Alex. It might. It's going to be close, though. Right side's going up on that car. Right side's down. Going around to the left side. Can he get that gap? I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be very similar to how it was the last pit cycle here. 7.654. 6 seconds gap. 5 second gap. Can Alex get the power down on that access road, which is slick? As we see that 52 car now entering the picture, here's your battle for the race lead. Can Alex, and Alex does not have the preferred grip at all. As we see the 52 right around. It's going to be close though. A lot closer than the last time by, the last pit cycle. Now these drivers are back on full fresh tires and race fuel. Go another 30 laps, which will take us to about 10 to go. Might see another pit stop depending on how much these drivers can save here. With under 40 laps to go here this time by, as we see the gap is 1.5. If we do see another pit stop cycle, I would expect Alex not to do the same thing, even though he can run longer, because he does lose a huge chunk of time when he does stretch it, even just 2.5 laps. So we'll see if he keeps that in mind as we see him bounce off that outside wall a few times. And Brantley is starting to pull away from the 16 car. Gap 1.2. This is the biggest breathing room the 52 has had in 40 some laps here around IMS. Good time now to say hello to our sponsors. First and foremost, thank you to our friends over at iRacing.com for making all this possible week in and week out. From all of us over at Outcast Motorsports, Sam Hardy and HMS, propane and natural gas needs. And the guys over at Southern Speed Shop for making this league happen. And last but not least, K Design, Brantley Bryant's Paint Studios. Head over to all of his paints and get one today. Two people watching. The gap under a second now for the race lead. This battle is going to pick up right where it left off. It takes the 16 a few laps to get those tires to where he can push that car. Whereas the 52 has pace right from the word jump. Alex using every inch that is available to him, trying to find some more grip. Close the gap another 4 car lengths off of turn 4. Now that whole front straightaway relatively enveloped in shadow, which is going to allow these drivers to push the entry and grip a little bit more into one. As Hardy has fallen back to 11 seconds behind this battle. And the battle for fourth between the 2 lap down cars. And there's Nunes coming across the start finish line, so he's got some gap to make up for P4 because him and Peppers are going to be racing for that 4th position. As we watch the 17 car just riding around P3 at the moment. As we go back up to the battle for the race lead. Brantley's starting to open it back up. These two are just going back and forth, trading track car lengths every lap of the speedway. So we got 30 laps to go here around the speedway. Alex was a huge run off of 4, closes in right around 2 car lengths off the back bumper, using all the track up before he dives that Mustang on to the apron, using the apron to rotate that car. 52 washes a little high, but somehow makes that high line work off of 2. Gap stabilizing right around 3 seconds. Right around 3 car lengths, I apologize. As Hardy falls back another second and a half off the race lead. Ooh, Alex is there. He's going to get right on the back bumper. Nothing separating our race leader. Nose to tail into 1. The 16 is gunning for the race lead. Gets in the wall ever so slightly. Doesn't, gets up in the marbles. You got to be careful. He's going to lose a couple car lengths. Pushing it into 1. Did he show Brantley where he's going to make that move too early on? Or does he have another trick up his sleeve? Because if you're our race leader, you're remembering where he's faster than you and anticipating that move. You're going to drive knowing that, hey, this is where I'm better and this is where he's better. So as a race leader, did he show you his hand too early this late in the going here? As we see Nunes on to pit road to what I would assume would be his final pit stop of the afternoon. Oh, the 52 gets really loose. Hits the wall decent. So we'll see if he's got any type of handling damage. As we see the 16 get a little high in turn 2. Nah, Bryant stretching it out. Right around 5 car lengths into 3. See them washing a little high. 16 gets into the wall ever so slightly. 3 trying to use every inch of pavement here. 4 car lengths is the deficit between first and second. The shadows glooming larger down the front stretch into 1. Now we get into as we see the 52 get a little loose, that's going to allow the 16 to get a huge run off of 2 side by side down the backstretch. Who has what it takes as the 52 body checks the 16? Don't know what that was about, but side by side through the short shoot into 3, the 16 has to give the spot to the 52. As that 16 is going to get that giant run down the front stretch into 1. Not as close as he was last time by. But the race for the lead is on as we see the 52 struggling to get out of 1. He's going to close the door all the way to the apron. The 16 is not going to like that. I can assure you of that, folks. Now the blood is in the water. That 52 does not want to give the race lead up. As we're approaching lap 100 here shortly. 6 more laps before we see the 20 to go from our flag stand. Alex is gonna try to regroup and put the pressure back on. This is the most pressure that Alex has put on Brantley in some 65 laps around the speedway. Alex really able to arc that entry into 1 with the shadow. The grip level is there to make it work. Closes it to about 2 car lengths. 16 gets a good run through 2. Gonna get the draft down the backstretch. Give it a car length. Down the back straightaway. Yeah, the 16 looking, trying everything to get some fresh air on the nose of that Mustang. As we see the 52, wow, the 52 is aggressive on this restart. Alex goes to the outside. Brantley on the inside into 1. Side by side. Does Alex make it stick on the outside? Yes, he can make the outside work through 1. Can he make it work through 2 is the question. Watch out for those marbles on the high side, but he's gonna make it stay put on the outside. The battle for the race lead, nose to nose, down the backstretch. Not an inch of separation. The gap, as you can see, is 0 as Brantley ships it off into 3. 16 wisely. 16 gets another jump on the outside. The outside is working for that 16. The grip is there as he thinks better of it now. 3, 4. Oh boy, folks, as we're going to have a battle for the race lead on our hands for the rest of this afternoon. That 16 is hungry. You can smell the blood. Now the question is when and where does he make that move, because Brantley has shown that he is not going to let him go the outside. Alex puts the bumper to him, says, hey, I don't appreciate the way you've been driving me. Says, I won't take it. I will move you if I have to with that bump. Gap a car length into 3. 16 gets a good run off of 3. Dives it into the low side of 4. Says, here, you can have the high side. Brantley just can't make it stick as Brantley's going to go to the pits. Wow, okay, so with 21 laps to go, our second place driver decides to take some tires. Now, if you're Alex, you got to make the most of this opportunity right now. Do you pit this time by so you don't have to worry about this, because you don't have 30 laps to make another run at them. And they can't make it on fuel if you're Alex, do you decide to bring it down this time by, or do you put a lap on him while he's in pit road? As we see, Hardy gets around Brantley, as it does look like they are still stuck on pit road. Now the question is, there's 17 beats the 17 is now going to be in P2 as Hardy's now just in the short shoot of 1 and 2 as our race leader is entering 3 and 4. Now if you're Alex, I would assume that he was going to pit this time by, because even a lap down they have to get by you twice to get that lap back. No, he's going to stay out one more time. Let's see, the 52 is now leaving pit road. As our race leader is through 1, entering turn 2. Now the question is, Brantley and Hardy both have tires. You don't want to give up too much track position. How long as a race leader do you stay out? If records show, I would assume that Alex would stay out for at least one more lap, if not pit this time by. We will see. Like I said, they have to get around him twice, once to unlap themselves and then once to get him, and that's a hard task. Does he drop pace and hit the apron? No, our race leader decides to stay out again. This time by, oh man, how much fuel is left in the tank of that Mustang? I mean, yeah, you got a lap over the field, and Brantley Bryant is in P4 behind the number 3 runner right now of Peppers. Brantley entering 4 as Peppers is gonna give up P3 to pit. So that'll give Brantley 3rd. We see Hardy, he's exiting turn 2 to the backstretch as our race leader is through 3 down the short chute to 4. Does he peel off this time by? No. Alex stays out. He's going to put another lap down on the 41 car. So put the 41 car another lap down. Does Alex stay out yet another lap? I know his girlfriend watching's gonna be nervous with 16 this time by to go in the fuel tank. I know she's got to be nervous watching her man lead this race, still having one pit stop to go. And Alex jumps down to pit road, and he has a lap, folks, on Hardy, who is now just coming through 4. As we're going to see Alex now crossing the start finish line ever so slowly. So give Hardy a lap back. This is going to be close between him. And we'll see Brantley going to get his lap back. As Alex comes to his attention, this is going to be a close gap between him and Hardy. Did he stay out one lap too long? We will find out. Right sides are up. Crew around to the left sides, jacking the Mustang up. Four tires in field for that 16 tribute to Brager Biffle. He is gone. Slips the clutch ever so slightly. Now he's got to get through 1 and 2. As we see the 41 going to get one of his laps back, dropping him to 2 laps down. As we see him going through the short chute, Dustin Hardy doing everything in his power to track him down. 14 and closing. He's Alex has got another 3/4 of a lap for these tires to come in on that 16 Mustang. As Hardy's entering turn two, our race leaders entering three. A long way to go. And Brantley Bryant was our race leader at one point. Dropped all the way back with damage to behind P3. Long pit stop cycle, lost the lead second and went back to third. As we have all three of our top runners still on the lead lap now with pit cycles. At 16, just putting them up and laying them down. Lap 105 in the book, working 106. As we are going to have So we're going to have 40 miles left in the Be Like Biff 300. 260 miles in the books. 40 miles to go. This is Alex's race to lose. Putting the pressure on his shoulders to bear that iconic Granger paint scheme and number of the Biff. His little tribute to the man, the myth, and the legend that was Greg Biffle. The question out there on the social media, should Greg Biffle get an automatic bid into the NASCAR Hall of Fame? And I don't think it's a question that he's going to go in this year. Not just because he died, but he was close to getting it last year. And yeah, unfortunately, him dying is probably going to pay a huge factor into him getting into the Hall of Fame. But he was a Hall of Fame driver regardless, spent all of his career under the tutelage of Jack Roush. And yes, I know you're going to say, but wait. He had a podcast on the Dale Jr. Download where he's like, I should have left a long time ago. Yes, that's true. But in a world of NASCAR, there are some greats that can make it their whole career with one team. Absolutely. But sometimes you got to go and get new adventures and reinvent yourself as a race car driver. And I think that's what Greg Biffle was trying to say when he said he should have left Roush a long time ago. Because let's be real, in the mid 2000s to 2010 era, they struggled quite a bit as an organization for wins, top tens, top fives, and and unfortunately that's why Carl Edwards went elsewhere and found a different ride. Was trying to reinvent himself because he wasn't going anywhere. So as a race car driver, you got to do what you got to do that's going to benefit you in your career. And unfortunately for the Biff, he didn't get that opportunity to do that and stuck it out with Jack Roush and ended his career there. But nine, 19 career wins in the Cup Series is nothing to scoff at. It's hard to win, let alone one race, but let alone almost 20 races. And he was always a top contender. Was Biff? You know, I always rooted for Biff. I liked how he raced. I liked how he interviewed. He was humble about it. Didn't brag a lot. But he mixed up with the best. Jimmy Johnson and him got into it. Gordon and him, his own teammates, Kempthus, Edwards, they all got into it over the years. So you could always see, Biffle being a storyline. So pretty cool that we, as a league and organization, get to, honor him. And I had the privilege of growing up and watching his career my whole life. So huge loss for the racing community, like I said early on. And Alex is doing a wonderful job and doing his part in honoring the Biff this afternoon. As we have Hardy and Brantley still on the lead lap, but at this point it's going to take a miracle for them to get up and battle this 16 for this race lead. as Dustin Hardy is 15 some seconds in P2 behind our race leader, and Brantley another 12 seconds off the back bumper of Dustin Hardy. One lap down in P4 is going to be Jeffrey Peppers. 2 laps in the rears will be the 41 of Joshua Nunez. And unfortunately, something happened earlier, but Joseph Smith, our dominant car early on, 56 laps in the rears. And unfortunately, the heavy damage. James Jones back in P7, 84 laps down, and Frank Skimmerhorn did not get 2 laps in the book before his luck ran out here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and he is 110 in the rears for P8 as we see the 41 of Nunez in the sights of our race leader. But what can I say about this young man that's leading this field? He does it without force feedback, and if any of you watching know what force feedback is, it's a weight in your wheel that kind of simulates, the actual rack and pinion of the car, the steering. And he doesn't do it with any of that. So the fact that he can do what he does without it is phenomenal. I say that week in and week out because it blows my mind. And back here in second, a long way in the rears, down the back straightaway in the Outcast Motorsports Hardy Design 17 is the owner of the league, Dustin Hardy, which we all owe a huge thanks to every week for putting this on week in and week out. Hardy in the fight for the championship as well. Here, as we reach our championship, I want to say rush before our season ends here in February. Couple weeks left, couple interesting tracks coming up. This one was definitely a wild card here with how big of it is. I thought the cars would stay in touch a little bit longer than they normally would have. But yeah, here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it has turned into a Southern Speed Shop normality to have some insanely long green flag running. Massive gap in between everybody is pretty typical this point on in the race, as we're going to have 7 laps to go this time by. As we look at the number 9 of Jeffrey Pepper sitting in P4 right where he started this afternoon. Good run for Peppers. He needed it for his points run, so he's going to probably jump up a spot or two this evening here in the points. And our number 3 runner, not where he wanted to be this late in the going, the ride, the Dente Chevrolet. Not the run he had a dominant car the mid portion of the race and came under heavy fire from Alex, and unfortunately just a little bit of issues on pit road and took him out of contention this afternoon. But good running for him. Solid P3 for him as well. Yeah, as we see our number 5 of Nunez just been riding around all afternoon, keeping his nose clean. Ooh, as I say that, bounces it off the wall on the exit of turn 2. But just run around getting points, so he's going to have a good points day. And unfortunately for Smith, Jones, and Skimmerhorn, they're going to lose quite a bit of points this evening. But hopefully not too much to shake up the points a little bit. But Nunez definitely going to gain some ground on his championship hunt. So good race for him, keeping it clean. And going to see the checkered flag this afternoon as we go back on to our race leader. As we're going to have 5 to go this time by. 5 to go this time by from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 12.5 miles before we see the checkered flag this afternoon. The Ranger 16. What an iconic paint scheme that used to be, man. That looked good on a truck, I'll tell you what, in the early days watching that. At the time, it was the 50 truck going around before he moved to the 60 in the Bush series at the time, which later then became the Xfinity and Bush series, and now is the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. So what an interesting way that two out of the three stops he made on his career were in a Granger paint scheme. Made that brand famous. Haven't seen another car with the Granger paint scheme since Biffle left that partnership in the early 2000s when he was joined Roush over there in the 16 car, and he made famous the iconic 16 that we see that's adorned on the Mustang of Alex right now. Iconic paint scheme. You don't see a lot of numbers like that anymore. Very aggressive nature in that, but cool to see that out there. What a wonderful paint scheme. That's truly amazing, and nothing to discredit Hardy for his paint scheme, which are always beautiful. But what a cool paint scheme, man. That green, I don't know. There's something about it that paint scheme still stands the test of time. As we're working lap 118, three circuits around this massive 2.5 mile circuit here. As the 16 is now, he can literally coast half throttle if he wanted to and still win this race this afternoon. Almost 18 seconds up from our second place runner. As we are gonna see two to go, the cross flags are up with two to go. Work 5 miles remaining this afternoon. 295 miles in the rear view mirror in the Be Like Biff 300. And it is official, folks, that Brantley Bryant will still take home the Hard Charger of the Week award, up three to finish on the podium in P3 this afternoon as we see the white flag in the air from our starter in the flag stand. 2.5 miles around the iconic and famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 16 Granger Mustang. Working his way down the backstretch for the final time. Your race leader in 2-3 for the final time down the short chute, looking to come around the final corner of 4 here to see the checkered flag waving down the front stretch for the final time. Gonna keep it up there to see the checkered flag from our starter. And your race winner today in the Be Like Biff 300 is the 16 of Alex in the Bragg Biffle Tribute Paint Scheme. And taking the checker flag in P2 is the 17 of Dustin Hardy. Behind him, shaking the checkered flag now, is your fourth place runner of Jeffrey Peppers. And rounding turn 4 for the final time to see the checkered flag in a tumultuous race that was, is your third place and final podium finisher, the 52 of Brantley Bryant. Come, Coming down to pit road. Nope, he's going to stay out on the racetrack. Is the 41 of Joshua Nunez. Our race leader gonna burn it down here. Burn it down, and your race winner once again in the Southern Speed Shop Racing League from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is the 16 of Alex. Was it P3? Was Brantley? We're gonna pull our third place finisher in Brantley Bryant, P3 this afternoon. Talk us through it.
Yeah, costly mistake by me, completely my fault. I was going down pit road and I kind of just you know going down pit road didn't realize I was speeding. I was trying to check my tires and stuff and didn't work out. So, but all in all, I got P3. I'll take it. Try to move up in points and I don't know if have enough races left to catch Dustin and Alex, but I'll try.
Absolutely. You and Alex put on one heck of a show after, unfortunately, it looked like Smith had some issues where he had to drop to pit road. He was dominant, and then, you and Alex decided to play, a little bit of cat and mouse, So talk us through that. You guys had like a 60 lap battle, so I mean, talk us through that and how that was.
Yeah, I think he was riding behind me trying saving fuel. And then he ended up somewhat getting to my outside, and but it was funny every time I would get to my outside, it would be either coming out of two or going into three, and for some reason I love three and four. I can actually get to the corner and get out of it way faster than most of them. So um, no, me and Alice were having a good battle. We doored a little bit. I think actually riding beside him or something. I don't know what happened, but got right. I think I hit the wall a little too many times, and it just broke the right front or towed it in or something, and it won't the same after that. It won't turn in like it was supposed to. So
Hey, you still managed to take it home at the podium, so freaking you're right there every week. So always fun to see you guys battling it out. So always a pleasure. Hope you had a good holiday, break with your family, and what a way to start off 2026 with a podium.
yeah, I wish I would have got it with the win, but but everybody on the car, I mean, I can't thank them enough. Wannagoons, um, OG Gear. Had the Dente scheme on tonight, so I thank Chili's and the Presidente Margarita. Um,
Absolutely.
and they aren't on the car, but I want to thank Color Chassis. They've been good for me for first time running their stuff and for late models and supers. So they definitely helped me grow and made my racing better, made it more clean. And I don't know. We'll see what we'll do next week. I have no clue what next week is.
I don't
We'll see.
remember off the top of my head either.
It's Kansas. Okay, so I'll see you in Victory Lane there. And I'll have a good one.
Alrighty, that is your P3 this afternoon of the 52 of Brantley Bryant. Now we're gonna P2 into the booth for his first podium in the Southern Speed Shop Racing League of 2026. It is the 17 of Dustin Hardy. Talk us through.
It ain't the first podium, sweetheart, but yeah, it was fun, man. Just didn't have the speed. I had the speed to start out the race, and I'm an idiot and tried to block and ended up spinning myself. And after that, I just couldn't figure it out.
It just takes that one moment of oh shit, and you can't recover.
Pretty much.
So I did notice the shadows in down the front stretch into the one. Did that make a heck of a difference with the balance of the race cars, or not too much?
It did at the end. It got uh, it got real fast right there at the end, but it was too late by then. I was running him down right after he come off pit road, and then it's kind of evened out, and he walked away by about another 2 seconds, and that's how we finished.
Yeah, but I mean, for spinning early, and getting through all the calamity of issues with people getting loose, hitting the wall, and whatever happened to Smith, P2, you can't be too upset with that one.
That's exactly right. And I mean, I couldn't do it without, for one, you doing the broadcast and Hardy Designs. If y'all need a badass paint, go hit them up. My dad with HMS propane and natural gas accessories and repairs and all that good stuff. Um, Also, him texting me and calling my wife, telling me to calm down. But no, Outcast Motorsports, all them guys helping me out, and a couple of other friends that kind of try to lead me in the right direction. But you know how it is, man. It takes an army to get stuff like this done.
Absolutely, it does, and we look forward to seeing what you have in store for Kansas. Don't know how you feel about
Yeah,
Kansas.
you'll see me in victory lane.
Oh, all right. So I think it's gonna be you and Brantley both sharing that spot because he says he's gonna win next week.
Nah, he's gonna think he's in victory lane. I'm gonna push him up out of there.
Absolutely. Well, always a pleasure, Dustin. We're gonna pull in our race winner and talk to him because I know that young man's gonna be ecstatic.
He's had enough wins. He's good.
But can you have enough wins is the question.
Oh, and by the way, I ain't want to slow you down, but I've done the points, and Brantley, I heard him in his interview. He said he didn't know if he was mathematically in. He can make it if he wins out, but it's only going to take a race and a half. If I win one and Alex finishes bad in two races, and maybe a podium for me and a win, I'll be points leader or close to it. I'm 76 points behind. Brantley's 125 behind, and Frank is 125 points behind, tied with Brantley for third.
Oh wow. So mathematically, it's a four-horse race at this point.
Yes, sir.
Oh wow. Interesting in the closing laps. So I was right when I said this is the mad rush to the championship. It's gonna come down. It's gonna come down to the last couple weeks here. That's gonna be entertaining to watch.
That's exactly right. And also, sorry, I'm trying to
Nope,
trying
you're
to
good.
munch down some food. But if y'all are listening in, if y'all want to join in the league, we're going to switch over to late models and super late models next season, and hopefully have some bigger fields and better racing.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely look forward to seeing that and what changes are in store for the Southern Speed Shop Racing League. We're gonna pull Alex into the booth, and we'll let you go so you can go munch down some food.
Hey, yes, sir. You have a good one.
You too. Now, this man needs no introduction. The man that has dominated on basically everything there is to dominate, driving the 16. Welcome back to the booth once again, Alex.
Thank you, Justin. I was the 72 today, by the way. I don't know if you're trying
I
your
did
pants
not
updated.
refer. I did not refer to you
Yeah,
as a 72 all race because you had the iconic 16 on your car. So therefore, you were the
yep,
16 this afternoon.
yeah. First and foremost, I wanna give my condolences to the whole Biffle family. I know it's been nearly 3 weeks since they passed, but it still hurts. Um, Roush Fenway recently put up a his memorial car, his like 1000th win for Ford car, um, in their shop. I don't know if you've seen that at all.
I have saw that. That was a beautiful tribute, um, and a beautiful tribute at the NASCAR Hall of Fame too, showing his two championship cars at Glory Road. So pretty cool
Yeah,
what the NASCAR community has been able to do and continue to do. Um, I know you're a young guy and probably didn't get to see Greg in his heyday, but man, dude, you made that paint scheme proud today. Let me tell you.
yeah. I only ever got to see him race really one time competitively, and that was at that Texas truck race.
Oh,
Um,
when he won for Bush in 18?
and I think it was 2019,
Was
wasn't it?
it 19? One of the
I'm
two,
not. I
yeah.
don't remember. Yeah.
after not driving
Yeah,
a
I remember.
truck in 15 years.
Yeah, and then it was like what 6,000 days since he had been in a truck and won.
Six, yeah, a little over 6,000. So pretty
Yeah, it was
cool, man.
crazy.
That was, yeah,
He
you
was
missed
one
him.
talented driver.
Yeah, did a lot more off the track though. Obviously, like
He did for sure.
if you watch back, I did when we did the competition caution. I wrote a little excerpt and put that out there. So yeah, no, uh, I it's a storybook ending. Let's just be real, Alex. You gotta do it. Be like Biff 300 at Indy, and you're rocking the 16 paint scheme he made iconic. So kind of a storybook ending, you think?
Yeah, I honestly thought it was going to be a pretty good battle between me and Brantley, but then he had that speeding penalty. Penalties were
Ah,
kind of the story of the day. I got one earlier for I think like I went on the outside of Jeff Peppers,
uh-huh.
um, and I got a penalty for passing under yellow, and I didn't realize I was supposed to be on the inside, so I went in, and then I didn't realize I sped in pits. Apparently somewhere like I didn't it didn't even look like it wasn't as bad as the other times where I had to like smoke the tires,
Yeah.
but it gave me a speeding penalty that on top of my drive-through it added on to it added a hold, and I didn't realize it added the hold, so I ended up getting the penalty removed when I shouldn't have.
Oh wow.
So I'm getting a 10-point deduction because of that, but um, still scored some strong points here today. Um, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my girlfriend Sarah. She cheered me on, for sure. We got to see each other for the first time in like I think like 3 weeks. I don't remember. It was nice. It's nice seeing her today. Um, But yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't know why my legs were so tired after this race. Like this doesn't seem like a very leg intensive track like Darlington or something, but I guess it was.
It's a 2.5 mile super speedway with four individual corners with no banking whatsoever,
For sure.
and your foot
Yeah,
is
I
planted for a while.
this was one that I was expecting to honestly kind of struggle at. I don't know what happened.
Uh,
Um,
so
I think
from
Brantley
Brantley
definitely the
had a
penalty.
penalty, so that kind of screwed
Yeah.
him over, and then just you play the fuel strategy all the time, and you stayed out a couple laps longer than you probably should have, and thinking you had a
Yeah,
big
I
lead,
tried
thinking you have
I,
a big
I I
lead.
tried getting a tire offset. And I
Yeah,
thought it would work every time, and every time I was getting a little bit closer, and that last time Brantley had some damage apparently, and that really helped me close up
yeah,
to him.
yeah.
But
It
Dirty Air
was.
was the story of the day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it looked like you were great through one and two, and then it kind of flip flopped as the race went on. You were better three and four. So, was it just balance different? Just every set of tires was just a little handling different. What was it? Obviously the shadows in one and two, you could kind of open it up a
Yeah.
little bit and arc it, but was it tire? Did the tires change the car all that much, or was it just track temp change?
I really think it was the track temp to be honest, because like in qualifying we were running like what 40 or not 40, 52 sixes,
Hmm.
and I was running some like 51 nines in practice. And I wasn't really expecting that much of a track difference going into qualifying. But then as the race went on, it slowly got cooler again, and it definitely helped. I think it helped the racing a lot. Um, me and Brantley had a I'd say it was a pretty good battle there. We
Yeah,
traded
it
some
was.
paint a couple of times. It
You
was
guys
pretty
had
fun.
I did the rough math. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that you were nose to tail for 75 consecutive laps.
Yeah, I would say that's correct because him and Dustin would put on the same lap.
Yep.
Um,
So,
but
it
yeah,
was pretty even, and honestly, I put in a couple laps before the race started, and the setup seemed a little bit on the looser side. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it did
they
seem like
did.
a lot of you kind of struggled with trying to just to figure out where the limit of the setup was.
They definitely were looser, but they tightened up as the run went on, and especially tightened up the last about 10 laps. Um, I would be really interested to see what would happen if we had like larger fuel cells and were able to get more runs like strung out. But at the same time, I really do think that the fuel strategy played a big part in my strategy today for the win. I got
Absolutely.
a I kept going down pit road earlier because I wanted to be maximized on fuel. I ended up saving an extra set of tires I didn't need, but I mean, I still won, so I mean, it doesn't really, it didn't really matter
Ah,
too much.
no, not at all.
So
But
yeah,
what a hell of a fucking way to start the rush for the championship, and it's down to four of you for the championship with only a couple weeks left in
yep,
the season. So mathematically, even Frank in fourth isn't out of it. So I mean, it's going to be
yeah,
interesting to see what happens here. Obviously, we'll have another member joining us next week after his vacation, but Jeffrey Herrick will be making his return in 2026.
yep.
So that's going to add a little bit, of something else into the equation. So look forward to seeing
I'm
what you
excited to see him
you
back
and the rest of the Southern Speed Shop boys can do the rest of the season. But hope that you had a good holiday season and a happy new year. And yeah, we'll let you go. I know you're going to go put some more time in and practicing here on the sim here. So
I'm gonna go eat. I'm starving.
that's even better. All
Yep,
right, Alex. Well, welcome to 2026, bringing it in with the new year here in the Tuesday Night League.
for sure. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year. All right, folks, and that will wrap up here from today's activities and festivities from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Huge shout out to everybody at Outcast Motorsports and everybody making this possible week in and week out. And from every one of us here at Outcast and myself, we humbly send our condolences to the Greg Biffle and all the families that were affected by this. And as a NASCAR community, huge loss, but what a way to honor him in the best way that we knew possible. So thank you for tuning in for the Be Like Biff 300.